The recent developments from India's third lunar space expedition Chandrayaan-3 have unveiled a new revelation on the moon's surface. Through a series of images released by the Indian space mission, an array of larger craters have become increasingly evident, arousing global curiosity. This triumph of Chandrayaan-3 not only secures India's prominence as the pioneer of a controlled soft lunar landing but also poses the question, is lunar exploration undergoing a transformative shift? Join us today as we take you through the latest mind-blowing discoveries from India's space exploration initiative. Before we get started, don't forget to click on that subscribe button as it's the best way to support this channel. The Indian Space Research Organization, or ISRO's multifaceted space program, is poised to redefine the outlines of lunar exploration. The Chandrayaan project, initiated in 2008, has notched 14 years of progress. The maiden spacecraft made startling revelations upon its inception, with the Moon Impact Probe aboard Chandrayaan-1 unearthing water on the lunar surface. This milestone, coupled with its findings on potential life-supporting conditions and atmospheric insights, laid the foundation for subsequent lunar missions. Chandrayaan-3 stands at the cusp of becoming the world's first controlled soft launch, anchoring on the Moon's south pole. In precisely 1 month after the August 23 launch of the rocket, the lander Vikram and rover Chandrayaan are slated to touch down on the lunar terrain. The chairman of the ISRO had previously announced that the main objectives for the 2023 mission were to study the geology of the Moon as well as discover the Moon's capacity for supporting life forms. Unofficial reports suggest that the Chandrayaan-3 will be searching for more life-supporting resources on the Moon, as well as studying craters and moon rocks more closely to see if even the tiniest of organisms can sustain themselves in space. The lander Vikram will be photographing the rover Chandrayaan as it detects and studies seismic activity over the surface of the Moon. Not only will the images be relayed back to the ISRO for diagnosis on Earth, but Chandrayaan is also equipped with laser beams to melt surfaces of craters in a process known as regolith, and study the gases that are emitted. The notion of human habitation on the Moon's surface has been contemplated for years. However, Chandrayaan-3's success may concretize this aspiration. According to the ISRO, the success of the Chandrayaan-3 mission might pave the way for it to actually happen. The chairman of the ISRO believes that human habitation on the surface of our nearest celestial body is possible, actually a lot more likely than what we'd once thought. Besides finding water over the surface of the Moon, the Chandrayaan project will also be accessing temperature. That is, detecting the optimal location over the surface of the Moon where the temperature is enough to sustain human life. According to the ISRO, that would be the equator. Now, with their theories in place, the Chandrayaan-3 space exploration device will gather as much evidence as possible to ensure that the next project on the ISRO's agenda will be landing human colonies on the Moon. The Chandrayaan program, or the Indian Lunar Exploration Program, just released the first of many images captured by their latest space exploration mission as it enters into the Moon's orbit. After successfully orbiting the Earth for 10 days, the spacecraft was propelled further into space on August 1st. Besides being a monumental step forward for Indian space technology and their space center to make interplanetary discoveries that have never been seen before, Chandrayaan-3 holds a special place in the country's history. This achievement follows a previous mission that faced setbacks. Chandrayaan-2, launched in 2019, entered orbit after an initial 10-day Earth-centric phase, resembling Chandrayaan-3's trajectory. The soft launch technique, involving a non-explosive ejection of the orbiter and lander from the rocket tube, was utilized. While this technique traces its roots to the former Soviet Union's cold launch approach, modern Russia has executed successful soft launches, joining a select group of nations to do the same. India's intended soft launch to the Moon's south pole was initially slated for collaboration with Russia, but the plan faltered due to Russia's redirection of resources. Roscosmos, the state corporation of the Russian Federation responsible for space flights, cosmonautics programs, and aerospace research was initially tasked with making the lander for Chandrayaan-2, but after their Phobos grunt mission to Mars was found to be faulty, they decided to withdraw from any lunar projects as well. Chandrayaan-2 was delayed more than expected, and instead of waiting for Roscosmos to review their entire arsenal and waiting for them to give the green light, the Indian Space Center decided to take matters into their own hands. Thus, Chandrayaan-2 became an independently Indian-made space exploration project, set to take lunar orbit in 2019 and land on the surface of the moon around the same time. Only that didn't end up happening. The lander was lost with no traces detected. While the orbiter is currently operational, it's said to be operational for another 8 years, collecting scientific information. This was in September 2019, and by November of the same year the ISRO announced that they'd be making the Chandrayaan-3. This time, however, they decided to use the orbiter from Chandrayaan-2. The 40-day Chandrayaan-3 mission has completed Phase 1 and embarked on Phase 2, with Phase 3 earmarked for lunar landing. However, the project's complexity surpasses a simple 3-phase model. It encompasses 10 phases, each executed within close succession to relay real-time data to the Indian Space Station. The moon-centric phase will involve 3 orbital circuits, progressively reducing the altitude for the impending descent. Why is it taking so long? The Earth has one thing that the Moon doesn't: a strong gravitational field. When re-entering the Earth's orbit, an object picks up speed and is naturally attracted toward the center of our planet. It's a whole other scenario in space to safely land on the Moon and to ensure that this time the lander actually stays on the surface. Chandrayaan-3 will be attempting to dissipate some of its energy to ensure a safe landing. The touchdown speed over the surface of the South Pole will therefore be at most 5 miles per hour. So far, everything seems to be going according to plan. While Chandrayaan's project journeyed forward, challenges emerged. Critics raised concerns over the project's expenditure, suggesting redirection of funds toward education or transportation. The loss of the Chandrayaan-2 lander during descent added to skepticism, prompting some to question the prudence of space exploration expenses. Nonetheless, the majority embraced India's foray into space exploration, welcoming the prospect of joining the ranks of nations with successful soft landings. Roscosmos decided to revamp its entire arsenal and refused assistance on any further space exploration projects until its Mars exploration mission is fully optimal. This led to ISRO looking toward Japan for assistance for Chandrayaan-3. The chairman of the ISRO announced that their best bet to ensure a successful mission this time around would be to add stronger legs on the lander and increase its velocity. Previously, the Vikram lander on board Chandrayaan-2 was lost seconds before it was set to make its descent on the Moon. While the world sat in shock and dismay, scientists started racking their brains over what could have gone wrong. In the end, it was concluded that the final phase of Vikram's landing, hovering, was inadequate. The problem may have occurred because of technical defects in the lander's central engine. One plausible explanation was that the lander started falling more rapidly. It's supposed to come down at a velocity of 2 meters per second when it hits the Moon's surface, but the gravity on the Moon would have made it fall somewhat more rapidly. Chandrayaan-3's significance extends beyond historic milestones. It endeavors to unravel the mysteries underpinning the Moon's role in the solar system's evolution and humanity's origin. While moons generally play gravitational roles and remain enigmatic, ISRO contends that the Moon's potential is far from exhausted. Water discoveries from Chandrayaan-1, coupled with the possibility of subterranean life-supporting environments on other planets, underline the need for further lunar exploration. Chandrayaan-3 sets out to uncover concealed truths about the Moon, delving into its role in human evolution and celestial formation. Recent lunar revelations, like water detection by Chandrayaan-1, challenge previous assumptions that dismissed lunar life possibilities. Lunar regions shadowed from direct sunlight, known as permanently shadowed regions, hold promise for life forms due to the presence of water in its solid form. Equipped with instruments for safe landing and surface excavation, Chandrayaan-3 aims to probe deeper layers of the lunar South Pole, probing for signs of life. Following Chandrayaan-3's acquisition of historical and geological data, the next phase involves lunar polar exploration via Chandrayaan-4, featuring the LUPEX mission. Set to launch no later than 2025, LUPEX will explore the Moon's South Pole using radar, neutron spectrometers, and other advanced technologies. Reports suggest NASA's potential involvement in this phase, hinging on Chandrayaan-3's findings and the mission's success. Furthermore, Chandrayaan-5, anticipated by 2030, aims to penetrate the lunar soil up to 1.5 kilometers near active volcanic sites, with the potential to unveil life forms. Finally, Chandrayaan-6 will be set to return said samples back to Earth. It's pretty clear that the ISRO's main objective is to determine without a shadow of a doubt the possibility of there being life over the surface of the Moon, or at least demonstrate that humans can sustain themselves on the natural satellite should the situation arise. What do you think about the Chandrayaan-3 project? Let us know in the comments below. Thanks for watching and see you soon with another video.